Welcome to Essential Oils 101. My name is Sasha Clark. I am a stay-at-home mother of 3 beautiful children, and I've had the privilege of being with Young Living Essential Oils since November 2010. I love these oils, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. Young Living Essential Oils have improved our health and created abundance in our lives. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how our class will go. I'm going to share a little of the background about essential oils, how to use them, and then we will highlight some of my favorite oils as we go. I will pass around the oils and you're free to sample them and smell them. For tonight, we're going to go ahead and have the presentation at first, and then I will pause the tape at the end and you'll be able to do question and answer at that time. So feel free to write down your questions and save them for the end of the class, and I will address them as we can. Essential oils, known as nature's living energy, are the natural aromatic volatile liquids found in shrubs, flowers, trees, roots, bushes, and seeds. The distinctive components in essential oils defend plants against insects, environmental conditions, and disease. They also are vital for a plant to grow, live, evolve, and adapt to its surroundings. Essential oils are extracted from aromatic plant sources via steam distillation and are highly concentrated and far more potent than dry herbs. While essential oils often have a pleasant aroma, their chemical makeup is complex and their benefits are vast, which makes them much more than something that just smells good. Historically, essential oils have played a prominent role in everyday life. With more than 200 references to aromatics, incense, and ointments throughout the Bible, essential oils are said to be used for anointing and healing the sick. The Egyptians were masters in using essential oils dating back to 2780 BC, so this is not new medicine or new age. Today, essential oils are used for aromatherapy, massage therapy, emotional health, personal care, nutritional supplements, and household solutions. Young Living Essential Oils, the leading provider of essential oils, offers more than 300 essential oil singles and blends. All Young Living oils meet the Young Living standard. This means that every essential oil Young Living distills or sources has the optimal, naturally occurring blend of constituents to maximize the desired effect. Only Young Living essential oils should be used for the primary methods of application, which include inhalation and topical application, as well as internal usage. So here's an illustration. We all own vehicles, right? And the one thing we do to maintain the health of our vehicle is to change our oil. The oil is what keeps the engine running smoothly. Essential oils are kind of like that. They help keep the body running smoothly by supporting the body's natural defense system. Of greatest concern is the fact that some oils are adulterated, engineered, or extended with use of synthetic chemicals. For example, pure frankincense is often extended with colorless, odorless solvents such as diethylphthalate or dipropylene glycol. Some statistics show that one company uses twice as much essential oils as produced as in the entire world. So where are all these phantom essential oils coming from? They're a combination of synthetic and adulterated oils. Most websites, if you were to Google it, will compare Young Living products to their products. Why? Because Young Living is the industry standard. 95% of all the oils in the market are adulterated or reconstituted. This can and does happen because there is no government body requiring the disclosure of adulterants in essential oils. So they can use whatever they want in your product and they don't have to put it on your label. For example, if you distill cypress, I will pass that around for you, for exactly 12 hours, it contains exactly the right constituents to be therapeutic. If you distill it just 2 hours longer, there are 0 constituents, but a huge increase in yields. The brokers don't care about the quality because they're in it for the almighty dollar. It gets worse. Did you know that certified organic means that they use no chemicals in the certification process? However, the FDA allows up to 40 chemicals after the first 3 years of certification have passed. So how can we tell what's what and from whom? Well, unless you want to carry a gas chromatographer and a mass spectrometer in your pocket, you can perform your own health food store test. There's a couple things. Simply go down the line of samples and smell each and every one. and you will soon realize that they all smell kind of the same. Now you can smell all 300 of the Young Living products, and except for the products that are actually in other products, you won't smell a single oil that smells exactly like something else. Also, another way you can tell is that the FDA does require on food grade oils to put a supplemental facts label, and you'll notice on every Young Living product there's this white supplemental facts label. That means that this is actually from the plant that is on the front of the label, and therefore it is considered food grade because the herb is harvested. It's something we grow just like corn or soybeans, and so the FDA requires us to put full disclosure on the back of the bottle. You'll notice also that it's not on the colored part of the label. You actually peel the label to see that on every bottle. Young Living essential oils also give us results. I'm kind of impatient, so when I'm not well, I don't want to be unwell very long. And so I found that certain oils create a faster effect in my body than others, and so sometimes it's just not only knowing what to use, but how to use it to get the results you're looking for. Did you know that Young Living is the only company in the world that can export sacred frankincense from the country of Oman? Our founder, Gary Young, spent 15 years cultivating a relationship with the Sultan and ministry, and in 2011, Young Living was given the exclusive right to export sacred frankincense. In Oman, they don't get cancer. Why? Because they eat frankincense there the way we eat lettuce. I will pass around frankincense. And go ahead and just put a drop on your hand if you'd like to experience the oil. I like to rub it and then inhale it. And sacred frankincense as well. Sacred frankincense and frankincense are members of the same family of frankincense trees. They're basically like first cousins. The sacred frankincense would have more of a spiritual component to the constituents, as in it uplifts the mood a little differently. The regular frankincense is basically a more earthy oil and is also very helpful in any skin issues. You can use them interchangeably, so if you have a recipe that requires frankincense, you can use either or. Although if you're going to diffuse for meditation purposes, sacred frankincense would be the one you'd probably want to choose. If you don't have that, then the regular frankincense is fine. There is a cost difference from the two frankincenses, and that's because the sacred frankincense is more rare and therefore a little more costly to produce. With that said, it's important to remember the following recommended uses for essential oils are only for Young Living products. I'm not recommending that you take this information and use it with a different brand. An adulterated or synthetic oil taken internally, for example, could be very toxic to your system. And some oils are merely aromatherapy grade oils, and so they were not even intended to be used on the skin. One lady told me a story of how she didn't think lavender oil helped with her skin rash because she had purchased an off-brand oil and was using it several times a day, and the rash actually had grown worse, not better. After further investigation, we learned that her essential oil contained alcohol, which of course was why her rash was spreading and becoming itchy. So that we know that irritates the skin. No wonder her lavender didn't work. This is the Young Living therapeutic grade lavender. You will notice that it smells slightly different than what you're accustomed to because there are 5 different types of lavender plants. One of them has therapeutic properties. The other 4 are often used for fragrance. The one that Young Living Farms is for the therapeutic properties. There are 3 schools of application for essential oils. They're the French, the English, and the German. The English model advocates diluting a small amount of essential oil in a vegetable oil and then massaging it on the body for the purpose of relaxation and relieving stress. The French model describes the ingestion and undiluted or neat application of therapeutic grade essential oils such as Young Living products. I'm going to go ahead and pass around Citrus Fresh at this time because the German model focuses on inhalation. Citrus Fresh is a great one for elevating the mood, and so inhalation is what I've been practicing. so far in this class. Research has shown that the effect of fragrance and aromatic compounds on the sense of smell can exert strong effects on the brain, especially the hypothalamus, which is the hormone command center of the body, and the limbic system, the seat of our emotions. Some essential oils are high in sesquiterpenes, such as frankincense, and can dramatically increase oxygenation and activity in the brain. Myrrh, sandalwood, cedarwood, vetiver, and melissa all are also high in sesquiterpenes. Sesquiterpenes can also cross the blood-brain barrier and are powerfully antiseptic and antibacterial, and have demonstrated therapeutic potential in decreasing the size or progression of cancer. The reason you need to know about the blood-brain barrier is that most medications, especially psychotropic medications, are not able to cross the blood-brain barrier. So you can see that essential oils can sometimes be more effective in aiding the rebalance of naturally occurring brain chemistry in the human brain. The sense of smell is the only one of the 5 senses that is directly linked to the limbic lobe of the brain, which is the emotional control center. Anxiety, depression, fear, anger, and joy all emanate from this region in the brain. The scent of a special fragrance can evoke memories and emotions before we are even consciously aware of it. Again, all the citrus oils are very effective in battling depression. It's winter in Iowa right now, so a lot of folks are getting that cabin fever, and so it's just nice to put a little bit of tangerine or orange oil or lime, lemon, or the citrus fresh, which are all very inexpensive oils, into the diffuser, or just place on your hands and inhale to help combat the winter blues. Another great trick that I like to use at home is combining Thieves essential oil with lemon. And the reason I do that is because if there's a cold running around or a virus, we've got a strong virus, flu virus going around our communities right now. Thieves is antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antiviral, and we'll talk about Thieves a little more in depth in a little bit. Putting Thieves with lemon in the diffuser is helpful because the lemon will actually break up the bacteria at a cellular level, or the virus at a cellular level, and then the Thieves can be more efficient about killing it because it's already been split or subtracted, I guess you could say. So that I will make sure and talk about Thieves in a little bit before I pass that around, but I'll go ahead and pass the lemon at this point. Inhaling essential oils heightens your senses and can trigger numerous desired responses in the body. Here are some guidelines for using essential oils for inhalation. Again, you can just simply smell them right out of the bottle or cup your hands over your nose. You can diffuse the oils in a diffuser, which disperses the oil in a microfine vapor into the air. The diffuser does not heat the oils, thus ensuring the full benefits, as extreme heat can damage the constituents of an essential oil. You can use it with a cold mist humidifier, by putting a couple drops on a cotton ball and just placing it in the top of the vent, so that way when the humidifier is running, it will disperse it through the air. You can carefully pour hot water into a bowl or fill your sink with some hot water and place a couple essential oil drops into the water, and then cover your head with a towel and kind of tent it over the sink or the bowl and that helps to get it deeper in the lungs, especially if it's a warm, very hot water. You don't put your face into the water, but just to breathe that steam will help if you have deep chest congestion that you're trying to inhale the oil down in there so they can treat the lung tissue, or cover the lung tissue, from the inside. Another good oil is Idaho balsam fir. This is one of my favorite ones to diffuse. There have been studies that have shown that it's been a very effective prevention against pneumonia, which is especially important with young children with bronchitis, or the elderly sometimes are prone to pneumonia, and so rubbing the balsam fir onto the chest or diffusing it in the air at night can help them to keep their lungs clear so that the chest cold can move through without turning into pneumonia. Another great oil that I like to use is, on the subject of topical application, which we'll be talking about next, is this Progestins Plus oil. This oil is cheap. It's 30 cents a day. It is Dr. Purser formulated this oil blend, and he says that any woman over the age of 12 should use Progestins Plus, because at the age of 12 you have the highest amount of naturally occurring hormones in your body, and it begins to just decline slowly over the period of the period of your life. So research shows that among women that 99% of migraines are brought on by hormonal imbalances or dehydration. So topical application of many essential oils is safe and can offer an enjoyable, relaxing experience. For topical application, just follow these simple steps. Carefully tip the oil bottle and place 2 to 3 drops in the palm of your hand or directly on the desired application area. So if you're dealing with a stomach ache and you want to use peppermint to get rid of some gas and bloating, you could just put it right on the stomach tissue. You don't have to put it on your hands and hope it gets there. You can put it right on the stomach tissue, or you can also, we'll talk about internal consumption in a little while. Because of our bodies have a frequency, it's best to massage it in a circular fashion. For some reason that helps to, Gary Young talks about using a circular fashion a lot with the oils, or rubbing the bottle of oil between your hands before using it, and that is so that the frequency of the oil begins to match your frequency in your body, and then it's the effectiveness of the oil once it interfaces with your body is maximized. Essential oils are very potent, and some can be irritating to the skin. If irritation occurs, immediately apply a pure vegetable oil such as coconut oil or olive oil, or Young Living does have a V6 enhanced vegetable oil complex to the area that's affected, and that will dilute the oil down. I have found from my own experience that typically the palms of the hands and the bottoms of my feet are least sensitive to irritation from the oils, so even some of the hotter oils on my hands or my feet tend to not create an irritated skin tissue, although those same oils, when used on my back, for example, or on my face, would cause some redness or burning. Again, the redness and burning is not necessarily a harmful effect. It's just that some oils like cinnamon are very hot. I'll pass that around. Cassia is even more hot than cinnamon. So both of these, if I were to use topically on the skin, I would dilute in a carrier oil like coconut oil so that you don't end up irritating the skin tissue. And there's Cassia. Cassia is an excellent oil if you have a knot in one of your muscles. I had an experience during my last pregnancy where I had a knot in my shoulder that I couldn't get out, and a friend of mine was doing kind of a massage on my the top of my shoulders, and she was praying, and she said, I feel like we should use Cassia. She put a drop of Cassia on the spot that really hurt, and it within about a minute and a half it was very hot, but it released all the tension out of that muscle like immediately, and then we diluted it down so it wouldn't keep hurting, and the spot was fine after that. So okay, so thieves. Many essential oils make excellent food flavorings or dietary supplements. To use essential oils for internal consumption, Young Living suggests these methods. You can put several drops in an empty capsule. I have one with me. I guess I thought I did. Maybe it's in the front of this bag. I guess not. Well, the capsules just pull apart in the center, and then you put a couple drops into the one side of the capsule, put the top back on, pop it back, drink a little water, and there you go. You can also add a couple of drops to a glass of rice milk or cow's milk, whichever you drink. It's important if you're putting oils into a glass of something that it be something fat soluble, because the oils will bind to the fat. So like a small glass of milk, and then you can drink it. In our house, Thieves in a little shot of milk is one of our favorite cough syrups. It's very effective for releasing the congestion, and of course it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antiviral, so it really supports the immune system to fight off any colds or flus. I do use oils in water sometimes, although if I'm going to do that, I'll go ahead and pass the Thieves around. If I'm going to do that, I usually try to recycle that bottle. So this is a recycled tea glass, reused, I guess it's not recycled, reused tea glass that I have. I took the label off just because it was getting kind of scruffy. But I will put some of the citrus oils in my water. So this is grapefruit oil. I just put a couple drops into the water, and I keep reusing this glass and keep putting more water in it because, as you know, oil and water don't mix. And so you'll find that after a few drinks of your water that your oil is actually pretty much resting around the inside of your glass. So I try to refill the water, and that way I keep getting my oil back out. It's not my favorite way to use oils if I'm going to take them internally because, again, I'm wasting so much around the glass, and the oils are kind of expensive, so I don't really like to waste them. I want to make sure they're all getting inside. You can add a drop or two to a teaspoon of honey, or Young Living carries a blue agave that's helpful to use to take it, again, as like a cold medicine and swallow. Or you can drop it directly on the tongue. The digestive system is really fascinating, and the saliva in your mouth is the first route of digestion. So it breaks down, the body sends enzymes in your saliva, a certain enzyme, to break down things in your mouth. And the stuff that you absorb through the saliva in the mouth tissue goes directly into the bloodstream and then to the brain next. So that's the fastest route of ingestion. So if you're trying to get a quick effect from an oil and you don't mind the taste of it, putting it like under your tongue or on your tongue or in your cheek can be some of the most, the most efficient way to get the oil into your body to help. Again, if I have a scratchy throat or feel a cough coming on, I may put some thieves in my mouth while I'm out and about before I get home, just to try to fend off anything that I might have been exposed to, like at the store or whatever. And then maybe once I get home, I can couple a couple of oils in a capsule to try to boost my immune system, or put some on my feet. While we're talking about feet, I do want to show you that if you look at the bottom of your foot, you'll notice that the lines of your foot kind of represent your spine lines. So the top of your foot is like your head, and down through the ball of your foot is kind of like your shoulder area, and then about where your ankle meets is the hip area, and then through the tail of your spine. So when you're placing oils on your foot, if you're trying to intentionally place them to a certain organ, you can pretty much match where in the body along that spine line that you'd like them to go. There's more about Vitaflex points in the Essential Oils Desk Reference book, and so you'll be welcome to look that up after class. Essential oils in human blood share several common properties. They fight infection, they contain hormone-like compounds, and they initiate cell regeneration. Essential oils have a chemical structure that is similar to that found in human cells and tissues. This makes essential oils compatible with human proteins and enables them to be readily identified and accepted by the body. One of the stories I like to tell, I had a boil, it's a little embarrassing story, but I had a boil on the side of my hip when I first started using oils that I actually thought was a spider bite. I had been spending some time in another person's house, kind of house sitting for them, and I was sleeping in their basement, and so I thought I just gotten bit by a spider in the night or something. And so I was putting Purification on, which I'll pass that around. Purification is a great oil that for bug bites, mosquito bites, spider bites, and the like. And so I was treating it with Purification, thinking, and it wouldn't go away. About 3 days later, it still was exactly in the same condition that it was when I started. So I finally went to the doctor because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't getting better. If it was a spider bite, the Purification should have taken care of it long ago. And turns out it was a boil, and so I was using the right oil for the wrong problem, which is a common thing because I'm not a doctor. That's a thing I struggle with a lot. So I went home and I looked up boils in my essential oil desk reference, and the first oil it recommended was Melrose, so I'll pass that one around too. Melrose is a combination of melaleuca and rosemary, and it's great for any skin disorders. My daughter happens to put it in some coconut oil just to use as a face, basically a face lotion, because it's antibacterial, and so it'll keep her acne at bay. So yeah, I just put a couple drops right onto the boil, and within an hour of a diagnosis, it was starting to get smaller, and by the end of 24 hours, it was completely gone. So I'll let you smell that one too. Okay, so what does your medicine cabinet look like at home? On the back of your drawing slip tonight, I want you to jot down a couple things you need medications for, or over-the-counter medications, such as maybe you get headaches every now and then. I know I used to get headaches around my time of the month frequently, And so ibuprofen was my go-to friend when I got cramps, which I don't use ibuprofen for any reason at all now. But just go ahead and list down some of the things that you're using. Do you have any side effects from using these things? Are some of your medications maybe breaking the bank? Can your kids or grandkids get into your medication? With Young Living, the oils are safe for all ages. They handle all of your common first aid and illness concerns, and they're easy to use. They're non-toxic, and they have no harmful side effects. They save you money. So for example, one bottle of peppermint is 15 milliliters. There's about 300 drops of oil in this bottle. So you could treat 300 headaches with this bottle, and it costs approximately $20. You would need about $30 of Tylenol to treat the same amount of headaches in a year's time. So I will pass that around. And it smells lovely. Besides the fact that you could treat headaches with this, again, we talked a little bit earlier about gas. I had the wonderful, fortunate experience of being able to go out with my grandma and a couple of my aunts and my mom for dinner a few months ago, and we had a huge plate of some awesome onion rings, and my breath was so nasty after that. And then we went to a theater production, and I was getting kind of gassy and burpy, and I was so afraid that the people sitting in front of us was going to smell my onion rings on my breath. So I took my peppermint out of my purse, and I put a drop right on my tongue. I'll do that just to show you that it's perfectly safe. And it kind of leaves a little coating taste in your mouth, but it took the gas out of my system within about a minute and a half, and freshened my breath at the same time. The key to success with essential oils is to have a good collection, mostly because it's difficult to know exactly what you're going to need next week, but also because some oils are more efficient at treating problems or helping the body heal certain problems than others. So it's a great idea to purchase oils every month. It's also a great idea to start out with the Premier Starter Kit, because it will get you started with a handful of oils so that you have a variety to work with. Thieves is my favorite oil, but Thieves does not work for everything. In 1990, 74% of Americans surveyed said they wanted a more natural approach to their healthcare system. And Obamacare is changing things too. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn the tape off, and we'll go ahead and field questions, and we'll do our drawing for tonight. And again, thank you for coming.